All dressed up in outdoor gear from top to bottom. It's fjeldreven, trousers, everything is good. But first, before we go on the adventure, we need to pack the car with a lot of gear. So come with me. We have arrived back in Randers at the Tropical Zoo. Looking so much forward to coming in and say hello to Brian and Asa.
If I seek, I will find.
I met up with this dude. You know him from last time. It's Asa, cool guy. And today we're going to talk about organizations. We did that a bit last time. We talked about tribes, but today I would like to talk to Asa about how the brain works in terms of large organizations, small organizations, so on. There's a bit of problem with the density in here, so it might do a bit of moist on the lens, but that's okay. We'll fix it anyway. So, are you ready, Asa?
I'm always good.
So, Asa.
Yes.
Great to be back.
Yes. Great to have you here again.
I really enjoy this area. I enjoy being up here and talking to you guys. I said that last time as well.
We enjoyed when you come and visit.
But something has happened.
Yes.
Since last time, I've been out doing a lot of keynote presentations and so on. And suddenly there was a guy saying to me, how do you know this about the animal brain and how it works and so on? Will that monkey jump down on the camera?
I hope not. It's a lemur, so it's not a monkey per se.
Okay.
But still,
You doubt it?
I can't say. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a bit too far.
Okay, good. Okay. So I was doing this keynote presentation. There was a biologist, and I was talking about the brain and the people's brain and the animal brain. And he said, whoa, stop for a while. How do you know this about the animal brain? And I had to admit, I didn't. So I called you, and you had a lot of thoughts about the animal brain.
Yes.
And it's something about being flexible and not being flexible and so on. So what was it that, if you will share with the audience, what was it that you talked about?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about brain anatomy and function. Other people are specialized in that bit, so I would not presume to know terribly lot about that. But what I would like to share some thoughts on are how humans collaborate, because that is, according to a lot of people much smarter than me, the main key to the success of the human species. That is our ability to collaborate in large groups. And we see collaboration between animals in a lot of different animal groups. We have the leafcutter ants here in the rainforest. One of my favorite animals here and in the actual South American rainforest. Extremely fascinating animals, and they're able to collaborate in huge groups. There can be a couple of million ants in one colony, and their collaboration just works. But the thing with these animals is that they're extremely inflexible, which means that if something happens that they're not coded, so to speak, to act upon, they can't change their course. They can't change their method of solving these problems. So they're able to collaborate in extremely large groups, but very inflexibly. And then on the other hand, we have other kinds of animals, like, for example, wolves, dogs, a lot of chimpanzees, which are very good at being flexible at problem solving and collaborating in any context that may be necessary. But on the other hand, they're not able to transmit this collaboration to very large groups of individuals. So, for example, a pack of wolves, it would not be able to grow to, say, 2,000 individuals, because they would not be able to collaborate in such large groups. People are able to do that. People have always, since the beginning of time, we have been trying to figure out what's so special about us. And we want something to be special. At an early point, up until, I don't know, 50 or 100 years ago, people thought that what was special about humans and what made us extraordinary was our ability to use tools. But now we know loads of other animals are able to use tools. There are birds who can use tools, there are monkeys, there are lots of different animals that are able to do these things. But one of the theories right now that actually sets us apart to a certain degree, it's not per se a morphology thing in the brain. I don't think it's because we have a prefrontal cortex that is able to do something else, but it is our ability to collaborate flexibly in large groups. And what this means is that primarily we are able to tell stories to each other, which makes it easier to collaborate. So, for example, we can share stories about the origin of the human species. We can share stories about the origin of the universe, which is what people have been doing since always, I presume, since people became people about 300,000 years ago. Probably even before that as well. And this is of course a language thing. We have loads of other animals have language. Never confuse that. Language is a universal thing. Lots of animals have language, but maybe not as flexible a language as ours. And our ability to use this language to tell stories makes us able to collaborate even in very large groups.
Yeah.
So this is a theory, at least.
Yeah. So the thing about dogs or horses, they cannot communicate a story.
Yes, exactly.
But we can communicate a story that we can think about, we can reflect upon, and
Yes.
so on, and try to create meaning upon.
Yes.
That is the major difference as you see it.
Yes, that is at least one theory. It's not my own theory.
No,
It is other people have spoken about this, but I think it makes a lot of sense, and it makes us able to identify ourselves as part of a group, say a nation, a company, a club, whatever. There can be many different collectives, many different communities that we can identify as part of. And all of these different communities, they have a set of rules, they have a set of demands upon the members of this group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we go, I would like to talk about the ants.
Yes.
Because they are a big group, but not flexible. And normally organizations want to grow big.
Yes.
They want big.
Yes.
And they also want people to think for themselves, which is what ants are not doing.
Yes.
So it's something contradictory about this.
Yes.
So before we jump to that, I need to look at the camera and let people go by.
Yes. Great.
No animals, no fear right now. There's nothing going on with the camera, which is good.
Beautiful.
I'm okay. So, the ants.
Yes.
You have some lovely ants over here.
We do.
Hardworking
Yes.
in a big organization.
Yes.
How many ants?
Well, it can be very different. Some ant groups are only, say, a couple of thousand individuals. Some can be up to a couple of million individuals in one hive. We see the same thing with bees or wasps, for that matter. They're able to collaborate in very large groups, but very, very large numbers of individuals. Yeah.
But each individual know what his or her task is.
Well, now you're using the word that they know something about that, and that demands some degree of consciousness about your own self and so on.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be the one to say that that's not. They don't have that experience. We don't know that for sure, but I would not bet my money that they have a consciousness of their own selves.
So now, if they don't have the knowledge, they just do it.
They that's what my best guess would be, that they are basically mechanically just acting upon stimulus from the outside, and in return doing certain behaviors.
That is implanted in them from
Yes.
from birth.
So they're basically, you could say that they have been genetically coded
Yeah.
to act in a certain way upon different stimuli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have everything. So we can say that a company or just one individual, we need to protect ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to get food. We need to grow. And there's a lot of things we need to do.
Yes.
So how does that work for them?
Well, it doesn't. But the thing is that usually when we talk about ants in a biological sense, we talk about a group as a super individual. We as human beings are very concerned about ourselves as individuals, and individuals being part of a larger group. But the thing is that biologically speaking, genetically speaking, we are individuals, and we are trying our best to propagate our own self-interest and our own genes. Whereas ants are genetically so similar, they're actually genetically identical, which means that their interest is the propagation of their genes, which means that if the hive, if the colony succeeds, that is also a success to the individual ant's genes.
Yeah.
Whereas that does not that doesn't go for human beings as
But
well.
that we would love in organizations.
Yeah, of course. That would for the bosses at the head of an organization.
CEO,
We
he
want
would
people to sacrifice themselves
Yes.
for the common cause.
Yes.
But most people, of course, have no interest in self-sacrifice, unless, of course, they feel part of a cause that is greater and bigger than just the profit of
The big boss.
Of the big boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they see themselves as one.
Well, once again, yeah, you have to be careful about how they see themselves, but that is how we might consider them, biologically speaking, as one group.
So for
And
us
actually,
to understand, we use our language saying
yeah,
they would be a one.
yes. So the whole colony should be considered as an individual, and the way that one colony acts and competes with other colonies is very much the same way as individuals work. You, for example, you are also an individual composed of different symbiotic organisms, which are also trying to propagate their own self-interest. Now, and that's a whole different story about our evolution.
Yeah.
But basically, you can say that the individual cells in your body are all collaborating toward a common goal, where we might consider the ants to be individual cells in a superorganism. Yeah.
Okay. So it is this about not flexible that makes the difference.
Yes.
I do think that most CEOs would say having non-thinking employees all over would be bad.
Well, we're in a process where a lot of companies are investing in AI and they're investing in automatization, and that is exactly what the ants are doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the employees they hire, they would love for them to be employees, right?
Of course. Of course.
And we would love for humans to be humans.
Yes.
So I see a difference. I see a problem. Now I'm remembering back to Henry Ford, and he was the first one who kind of like made a machinery that could make automobiles and make it in the same way again and again and again. So they made this repetitive work. And people, even though they were well paid, even though they were well taken care of in many ways, they started to hate their job because they had to do the same again and again and again. But the ants are okay with that.
Yes, they're very much okay with that. Well, at least we don't ever see them with strikes signs and saying we want higher wages or better working conditions.
We still need to see that, right?
Yeah, well, we still need. It would be fun. I mean, Disney and DreamWorks, I think, have made movies about these things, but in the real life, we don't see that.
They don't have a union and so on.
No, not at all.
Asa, thank you for clarifying this.
Always
thank
a pleasure.
you for trying to, because biology, whether it's animals, we are also animals
course,
in a way, right?
yes, of course.
So trying to put ourselves in the same shoes, trying to see us in a larger picture, I think it's very important. If you have to know how should organizations be in the future,
definitely.
Should we be like ants?
Yeah.
I don't think we would love that.
No.
So how big a tribe can we make?
Yes.
And what should be the purpose of the tribe? That is something that I think will be a trend-setting path in the future for organizations.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Extremely interesting talking to us about that and trying to see what is the difference between us and ants and so on. Look at this guy. He was actually the one trying to jump onto the camera a few seconds ago. Are you a bad boy? So it's a lemur. I know that now. So I'm trying to find Brian because Brian is one of the senior executives here in the Tropical Zoo, and they've made a very interesting project this Christmas that I would love to talk to him about, because that's about setting free passion and creating results, and they've done something very extraordinary. Let's see. When you talk about the devil, here he is. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Now you are here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I saw you a bit earlier because we actually had lunch together.
Yes.
And we had a rainforest burger.
Yes, the best burger in Randers.
The best burger in Randers. So if you come to Randers, go to the rainforest and get a rainforest burger. It's not called a rainforest burger. You have to say Regnskovsburger because that's Danish.
It's Danish. And you need to have cheese and bacon.
And you need it with cheese and bacon. That was good.
Yeah, that's very good.
Can I take your time?
Yes.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
So I've set up a camera here.
Yeah.
And down there by the waterfall, we can talk together.
Yeah.
If you would join me down there.
No problem.
So I am done here in the Tropical Zoo. So nice to be back. I really enjoy working with these guys up here. And yeah, it was an interesting day. I even ended up being on one of their light broadcasts. So that was also good, talking about how to do good in the rainforest, how to do good buying, purchasing more of the rainforest. Whoa, what about the interview with Brian? Brilliant question. That will be a part of next week's vlog, because I've had a lot of feedback, a lot of acknowledging feedback. Sometimes the vlogs are too long. So if I had both of the interviews with Brian and Asa in the same vlog, it would be half an hour long, and that wouldn't really work. So thank you for that feedback. I will try to shorten the vlogs a bit. Another thing I heard was that please be aware of that you want us to communicate as a group, but you give us all the answers. It seems like you give all the answers. So please ask more open questions out there, and I will do that. So now that you have listened to some of Asa's thoughts about how we work together as groups, have to be flexible in large groups, small groups, and also from last time we talked to Asa about the pressure that the tribe is under, the group is under, and so on. What are your thoughts? Does it work in your organization? Do you believe that this will be what happens in the future, or doesn't it really matter? Do you think we are working in the right direction as we are right now, or how do you see it? What do you think could be good, beneficial to change in leadership and organizational structures in the future? Please share in the comment box below what you think, and share it with the rest of the audience so we can see what we believe could be the future ideas. I know I have my clear ideas, but you might have some interesting to add to it as well. So before we go into the part where I ask you to smash the subscribe button and like this all over and share and so on, I'd like to tell you one last thing. The last week has been absolutely brilliant in terms of getting feedback from you guys. Acknowledging feedback, developing feedback and so on. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. But one of the things that I would like to ask you to do is put it in the comment box below, or write it in my LinkedIn profile and so on, but please make it open for everybody so everybody can see. With that said, all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching yet another vlog. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the vlog if you think it's worth it, and please share it with the rest of the world so we can create a community where we can talk about leadership now and in the future. See you in the next vlog.
I know that if I seek, I will find the people are actually kind. I get told